it's Rebecca from Rebecca Ink. Today we are going to draw a mermaid. This should be a fun one. It's nice and imaginative. You need a piece of paper, a pencil, a marker, and an eraser, or if you have a pink eraser, that's fine too. Any kind of eraser will work. So put me on pause, gather up your supplies, and come right back. All right, you are back. I'm going to move my guide, a few other things I should have moved off my desk, and we'll get started. All right, I'm going to use a marker so you can see me better, but you're going to start with your pencil. We're going to have our paper lined up vertically today, and we're going to start right about in the center of our paper up at the top with an oval that's slanted off to the right-hand side. For this one, it is about this big. Round and round I go till I get that oval shape, and it's large enough that I'm just kind of planting my elbow and moving my forearm to get that shape. Now this drawing is different because this is an imaginary creature, so I'm making it up. So from here, we are going to plant our elbow, and we're going to touch our pencil down to the top of that oval right in the center, and we're just going to draw a nice big arc that goes down our paper like that. So from the top, nice big arc, almost to the bottom of your paper, not quite, just up a few inches. Now when you plant your elbow and you draw like that, your arm is only going to go in that natural shape. So that's why I say stick your elbow out and go over it a few times till you get the idea of where that arc is going to be. And then set your pencil down and just move your arm, and your pencil will follow right along. All right, so for next up, we are going to draw a couple diagonal lines that are going to give us our shoulders and our hips. So just down from that face oval, we're going to add in some shoulders that are going to be about like that. One diagonal line. Now we're going to add in some hips, and they're going to be down here with another diagonal line. Now to come up with this little mermaid, I'm drawing on some college days doing some gesture drawings. So if I have any art students out there, we would do these really fast drawings, and you get the idea of where the body's going with these simple little lines. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, our mermaid is very curvy. So from this top right corner of that first diagonal line we drew, we're going to draw an arc down to that hip. So plant your wrist and just move your hand in that natural motion it's going to go in. You're going to get a really nice arc. Now for the other side, if you want to rotate your paper to do the same thing, that's what I would do. But I'm not going to do that. But you do that and do the same thing. Plant your wrist and draw a nice little arc from one side to the other. Just like that. Now we are going to do from the corner of that diagonal line, that second diagonal line that we drew, we're going to do an arc down to the end of the body diagonal line, I'm going to call it. So touch your pencil down on that left hip, plant your wrist, and draw an arc from that tip down to that tip. Kind of creates a triangular shape, but with a nice arc. Same thing on the other side. Rotate your paper so your arc comes out, and from that point, we're going to draw a nice arc coming down. If you plant your wrist, you get a really nice arc naturally. All right, at the base of that, we are going to add a circle right here. So right where those two lines meet up, right there, start a circle. Now for this circle, I go around and around. See how mine's not perfect? Yours won't be perfect either, and I don't want you to expect it to be perfect. Life isn't perfect, and neither is art. So round and round you go. If you squint your eyes, you see the overall shape that you drew, just like with our face oval, it's a circle. So let that be your circle. And then just down from there, we're going to add another circle. So this circle is going to share a bit. So we are going to let this be like the top portion, and then we're just going to come down from there a bit. So go ahead and draw a larger circle, just like that. This is going to help us get the shape of one of our fins. Next to that, we're going to draw an oval. It's going to be about this big. I'm planting my wrist and just using my fingers to get this shape. Around I go. And off the tip of that oval, we're going to add a triangle, just like that. Very good. I want my oval to be a little fatter. Take a look, see what you want. I'm going to make it a little bit fatter there. Now on this side, I'm going to create a little connecting triangle, so just a little line going back up to that body. And on this side, I'm going to leave it alone. All right, moving back up our mermaid. Now she needs some arms. So on either side of this first diagonal line that we drew that's going to serve as our shoulders, we're going to add in these shapes. Off to the left, we're going to draw a diagonal rectangle. So it's going to live right about here. I'm planting my elbow and just using my forearm, going back and forth and back and forth. Scooch over a little bit. Here's where you can decide. Do you have a skinny mermaid? Do you have a fat mermaid? Do you have a willowy mermaid? Do you want her to have longer arms? This would be like from your shoulder to your elbow. I'm going with an average mermaid, and there is that rectangle there, just like that. Off of that rectangle, I'm going to add an oval for her forearm. It's going to be long and about this big, just like that. Now I need to connect that forearm to that with some connecting triangles. So just fill in some little lines there to connect those two shapes. So you have a continuous line. Now we need a hand. So we're going to draw a little circle at the end of that oval, just like that. And at the top of that circle, we're going to add in an oval. Planting my wrist, and we're just going to draw a skinny little oval just like that. And I'm going to add a little connecting triangle just at the top. So this would be like elbow to wrist, and this is going to end up being our hand shape. Let's do the exact same thing on the other side. Now a little trick that I like to use, take your pencil and draw over, be nice and quiet, and draw over that inside line. Did you hear that? That helps me know if my sizes are matching up. So I'm going to be quiet and you listen. See how they took about the same amount of time? The sound is about the same. I use that a lot when I draw. So go ahead and add in that rectangle. Use the sound if it helps you. That's just a little trick that I use. I don't know if anybody else uses that or even if that makes sense to you, but I do that to help me get an idea. And sometimes I will even, like I'll sketch a shape and I'll go back to the other side and I'll make that sound to see so I can measure that way. All right, now we're doing that oval for the forearm. Round and round we go. See how mine's messy? Let yours be messy too. These are just our guides. They will get erased. All right, now we need our little connecting triangles there. At the end of that, we need our circle. And at the top of that, we need an oval. Very good, with a little connecting triangle there. So far we've had arcs and lines and circles and ovals. Super simple, right? All right, now on either side of this first arc that we drew, we're going to just add one line there for a neck and one line there for a neck. In between where we've got all these things meeting up, we're going to just add a little U shape right there. Now we're going to add some connecting triangles. Nice and skinny, long and flat like that is our connecting triangle there. From the shoulder up to the neck. So if you can see, this would be like our collarbone, and then this would be the muscles in her neck. Okay, so for our little mermaid's head, we're going to add very, very simple lines for her nose, mouth, and eyes. So this would be her chin right here. Just up from that, we're going to add just a real slight little smile, just like that, nice and easy, just like a little hint of a smile. You can plant your wrist and just move your fingers in that natural motion that they'll go in. Little one further up for the nose, and then just a little further up from that. If you go right up from that nose and make a little dot, that's where your next one's going to go, and that's your eye. Same thing, go to the other side of that nose, kind of air draw up. That lets you know where the eye's going to go, and just some simple little arcs for that. Now we need to add some long eyelashes because she is a mermaid after all. We're just going to give her some nice little touches and flicks right off of that arc line we drew for her eyes, just like that on either side. The longer the better. All right, she needs some ears, so right about here we're going to add a little circle for an ear and a little circle for an ear. And now let's do some hair. We're going to do the hair with one giant oval and then add in some ovals to give us some details. So starting up at the very tip of that face oval, we're going to draw one long oval that comes down and around like that. Round and round you go till you get the shape you want. Now I'm giving my mermaid long flowing hair, so that's what we're achieving with this shape. If you wanted your mermaid to have shorter hair, draw a smaller oval. If you wanted her to have short curly hair, draw a circle. So this just kind of gives you the idea. Now keep in mind she's probably underwater, so her hair is going to be a little bit further away from her head than it would be if you were on land. All right, so we need to add some of those shapes. So we're going to have our mermaid have her hair kind of parted off to the side like that. So we're going to add an oval right about here from her ear, not quite all the way up to that center line there. We're going to add an oval there. And we're going to add another oval on the other side, meeting up with that, just like that. Now, right over those ears, we're going to add long, skinny ovals. One there, and one there. Going to have it come all the way over to the face on that side. This is going to help us have some hair that curves and gets all pretty. All right, let's add a few more ovals. We're going to do one long one here, outside that oval, and we're going to give it some connecting triangles, so when we trace over it, we get some really nice smooth lines. We're going to do another one here, and a few more, another one here. These are nice and loose, just go round and round, get the hint of an oval there. One there, with a little circle below that one. Now moving back up, we're going to do right below where we had that oval below the ear, we're going to draw, actually just above it, we're going to draw an oval that comes down like that. Trying to make sure I'm putting it in the right spot. Yep, right about there, just like that. Okay, now for some details on our mermaid's body. She is wearing a bathing suit, so we need to add in her bikini top. So right in this area here, by her armpits over to like the center of her chest here, we're going to add a circle on this side. I'm planting my wrist. We're just kind of drawing around and around we go for a circle. Now if you wanted your mermaid to wear a different kind of bathing suit, here's where you would do that. If you wanted her to have on a t-shirt, just draw a little diagonal line there, little diagonal line there, a little U there, and maybe a little arc right there for a t-shirt. But we're going to do a bikini top today. So we're doing a circle with a circle, and then at the top of those, a little skinny rectangle to be the top part that's holding it up. Just like that. Where those circles meet up, let's draw a little circle there, and then the half of a flower. So from that circle, we're going to go over and back with some U shapes to create a little flower, just like that. Super cute. Now we need her bathing suit is kind of gathered, so we're going to give the hint of that with some arced lines. From here, just kind of mimic the top part of that circle, and then kind of like 2 or 3 simple lines. They kind of curve toward the top and then work down to curving toward the bottom, and along the bottom, a little arc like that. So a mimicking line at the top and a mimicking line at the bottom, and then kind of 1 or 2 back and forth. All right. Oh, we need eyebrows. I forgot the eyebrows. Sorry. Let's go back up to her sweet little face and add in some eyebrows. It's going to be an arc the other direction, just a little bit above her eyes, just like that. All right. Okay, now we can continue. I didn't want to forget the eyebrows, my goodness. From this hip over to this hip, we're just going to draw a nice little arced line that connects those. Almost look like a big smiley face right there. From there over to there, plant your wrist and just draw a nice little arc. Where we have that intersection of the hips and that center line of the body, we're going to add a tiny little circle for her belly button, just like that. All right. Now we're going to add a few little details to decorate her bathing suit and her fin. Along the top of her bathing suit, we're just going to do a couple little lines, just simple little lines that come up like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, not too many, just a few. One every so once in a while, just touch and flick off of there. Now for right around her little belly here, we're going to add in an oval right here, and an oval coming up, and another oval coming up. I'm just going to add a little detail here. We're going to draw along that center oval, draw along your oval, and just create like a little loop there. Same thing on the other side, make that bottom part darker and then draw a mimicking line. Same thing on this side, draw the bottom part of your oval and then a little mimicking line. Now off the edges of those, we're going to do that same little detail where we just touch and flick our marker off of that detail, and we'll add in another detail when we switch over to draw with our marker. I said marker a second ago. You're working with pencil. I'm the only one working in marker right now. Okay, now we're going to add along this side just a few little hash marks, just like this, nice and light, kind of a touch and a flick down to show that that part is shiny. So that's all we're doing there, just a nice little hint on that left side of that body to let us know that's shiny. All right, we have all the things that we need to draw our mermaid, so we're going to set down our pencil and switch over to our marker. I'm using a Sharpie. You can use whatever kind of marker you have on hand or even a pen, just as long as you can't erase it. That's going to be the key. Let's start up on her hair. Where we had that part, we're going to go down that line onto that oval, just like that, and then we're going to hop on the back end of that oval by her ear, just like that. Now we're going to go down the front side of that oval by her ear. Not all the way down though. Let's go back up. We're going to go from that part around that oval onto that connecting triangle, around that oval and connecting triangle, and stop. Now we're going to cut back in just a little bit back onto that hair oval. Just kind of loop it out where we've got that next oval, and on the inside of that oval we'll give a little hint of that. Let's go back up and do this side along the top. Now this side we're going to start in along her face. We're going to go around the inside of that oval, the outside of that oval, and stop. Same thing like we did over there. We're going to draw the other side, just a hint of it, and stop. Now on this side we're going to go from the part around this oval, and then we're going to tuck in on the inside of that bottom oval. So we're kind of cutting out a section of her hair when we do that, and stop when you get to her arm, just like that. We just kind of eliminated that section of her hair. Let's move into her sweet little face. We're going to go around the base of her ears. Now at this point you're picking which line. See how I've got lots of lines there for that oval? I'm going to pick the inside one. You decide, does your mermaid have a rounder face, a skinnier face? You're deciding at this point. I'm just going to pick one, and I'm going to go around that oval down to that line, and I'm going to lift my marker. Now I'm going to draw from that line up around my oval to her ear and over. Let's go up and do her little eyebrows. Just going to trace right over that arc. Now if her eyebrow gets hidden under the hair we just drew, Don't draw that part. Let that part be hidden. Let's move down her face. So we're going to draw that little arc for her eyes. And then add in her sweet little eyelashes. That is just kind of a touch and a flick to that line. Keep them nice and light if you want to. Moving on down, we're going to do just that little arc for her nose. And add in her sweet little smile. See her starting to come to life? It's kind of fun. All right, I'm going to go back up here where we had this oval. We're just going to draw a line kind of right down the center to give an idea of there's some layers of hair there. We're just giving that a touch of a shadow. Now, moving down her body. Let's start on the right-hand side. We'll go from her neck, down her shoulder, onto her hand. So we're going to curve down her neck, and we're going to jump on that connecting triangle, and at this point we're going to just kind of round that corner there and head down her arm. Shoulder to elbow, hop on that connecting triangle, oval to connecting triangle, go around this oval, onto that circle. Let's go back up to her armpit because it's easier to see. We're going to go down the rectangle, connect onto that connecting triangle, around the oval, and connect. Now here, where you had that circle, we're just going to give a little hint of that line right there. And that's going to kind of let us give her a thumb in a super simple way. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going to go down the neck, onto the connecting triangle, round off that little edge right there, down the top part of the arm, onto the connecting triangle, onto the oval to the connecting triangle, around the oval, around the circle, and then back up the arm. Just like that. If you need to change your angle, start at a different point, we're just kind of going around the outside edges of those things. Same thing like we did on the other side, where these two shapes kind of overlap, just bring your oval in just a tiny bit and it'll give her like a little idea of a thumb. They're tiny little thumbs, but it just gives a little hint. Okay, back up. We're going to add in that little U shape that we do, that little dip right there. And now let's add in her bathing suit. We're going to go down the long skinny rectangles on both sides. You can add in her bathing suit, that little circle there, and the part of the circle you see here, where they connect. Now let's add in that little flower with the little circle there, and then around the flower petals. We've done all the heavy lifting, and now we're just choosing our lines. Let's add in the arcs of her bathing suit to let you know it's fabric there. Just like that. Little mimicking line, and those three lines in the center, little mimicking line. Now we'll add in that detail. We had those little lines that came off the top. The fun thing about drawing mermaids is you can do a million trillion different things. So I chose this bathing suit design this time. You could do a different one the next time. She could be wearing like a bodysuit, all kinds of stuff. At the end of those little lines that we just drew, we're just going to add in tiny little circle with our marker. You could even set your marker down and just hold it there for a second and it will give you this circle. It's just a quick little ball at the end of that, just a fun little detail. All right, now we're going to go along her tummy down to her hips on either side. Down you go, just like that. And we're going to draw that arced line that we had for the top part of her mermaid tail. Let's add in that little circle at the intersection for her belly button. All right, now we're going to add in the detail first on this one. We're going to draw the little ovals that we drew and the mimicking lines that we drew. We're just going to trace right over all of those, this section. Just kind of creates a little loopy, fun little detail. And then you can do the little lines coming off. They don't have to match up exactly where you sketched them in, but I wanted you to have an idea of what we were up to there. So let's just sketch over those nice and lightly. and then add in the little balls at the end of them. Just like with the top part of the bathing suit, this part could have a million different things going on as well. So you could Google and look up all kinds of fun ways to create the bottom part of your mermaid, or you can make them up. That's probably even more fun. Okay, let's switch back to her hair before we do this bottom part. Remember where we had that oval over here that kind of cut out a section of her hair? See where it comes down here and it looks like the bottom part of a U? Just like that. We're just going to add in that part and then hop back on that oval. So it's like our hair is kind of like flipping up right there. Let's hop back on this section over here. We're going to go a little bit of that big oval that we did. We're going to do a little bit of that. Then we're going to go on the side of this circle and down. So just like a little hint of that. Now for this one, we're going to go down and around. Actually, start up here and give it a little curve and go down and around, just like that. So we're kind of giving her like a little curl at the end there. If you wanted to go over that bottom part again, you could just give it a little mimicking line with your marker. That's up to you. All right, I'm double checking my guide here. I think we've got everything that we needed up there. Now let's move on to the bottom part of her body. We're going to go alongside her hips, down toward her fin, and down to the point. So try not to sketch. Just drag your arm down your paper. And when you get down here, we're going to go around that oval, onto that connecting triangle, and then come back up, just like that. All right, now see how on mine I chose a skinnier part of that bottom oval? You decide how thick or thin you want that bottom fin to be. Okay, let's go back up. Draw from her hip, right where you can see it underneath that detail. Head it down. Now when we get down here, we're going to go around the inside, the bottom part of that little circle, up to where it meets up with the other circle, with the big circle. So our fin is going to kind of come up to here and stop. Now go back down, and we're going to go around the base part and catch it up with the other one. And look at that, you created a cute little tail flipping up. You have everything that you need. Oh no, we need to do this little section. Sorry. Add in your little hash marks. It's kind of the idea of where you had them. Nice and light and loose with your marker. That just gives the idea this part's shiny and pretty. Like I said before, if you wanted to add in other details, you are welcome to do that. Maybe some little scales or a little design on there. Or if you wanted to add in some lines on the fins, you are welcome to do that, but we're going to keep this one simple for time's sake. I'm going to switch back to my guide. You grab your eraser, and we are ready to erase. Study your paper with your non-drawing hand, and just erase all of your guides, and you're going to be left with an adorable mermaid. I think you're going to surprise yourself. I had this request from a friend of mine, and she is an amazing artist, so I hope I did the mermaid justice, Michelle. My version of it anyway. And I hope you had fun drawing your mermaid. Please like and subscribe, follow, and all of that internet talk for me. I appreciate it. And let me know what you want to draw. You can send me an email. You can leave what you want to draw in the comments below, and we'll make sure to do that this summer. You can also send me your drawings. I love to see what you created, especially with something like this that is fictitious and made up. It's fun to see how did you interpret it, what did you do differently. It's just fun to see. So send me your drawings. I will put them up on my website, RebeccaInk.com. Under the Interact tab, you can see what you drew and what other people drew, and that's a fun thing to check out. You can follow me, Rebecca Ink, I-N-K, because I like to draw with ink, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Rebecca Inkabink. And thanks for drawing with me, and I will see you on Friday. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.